On this show, we've reported extensively on corporate layoffs. But tonight, we're talking about a diplomatic one. Poland has recalled 50 ambassadors in one go. 50. Even news noobs will say that's a lot. You don't recall 50 envoys randomly. It's a well-planned political move. The question is why? Poland's foreign ministry is not saying very much. They claim it will help in professional implementation of difficult tasks. Such a ChatGPT statement. But the real reason is this. All these ambassadors were appointed by Poland's previous government. So the new leadership does not trust them. It wants them out. Prime Minister Donald Tusk hinted at this. He says it's important to have a loyal team. Now, we do not know where these ambassadors were posted or who they are or who is replacing them. But this trend is not new. We can tell you that. Poland's previous government was right-wing. They ruled for 8 years until 2023. And that's when the current government, this government, took over. And this government is not right-wing. It's a pro-European regime. So after taking over, they have purged officials appointed by the former regime. We saw that in December too. The heads of Poland's state-run TV and radio channels were fired. All of them appointees of the previous government. Now, at its core, this is a domestic issue. It's a clash of two ideologies. But imagine seeing this from the outside. Imagine the confusion it leads to. And it's not just Poland. Most Western countries cannot decide on foreign policy, it seems. It depends on who's in power. In other words, there is no policy continuity. Let's look at some of the major players, starting with the United States. We have Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Biden wants a nuclear deal with Iran. Donald Trump does not want it. Biden wants to stay in the Paris Climate Accords. Trump does not want to. Biden wants to keep arming Ukraine. Trump is non-committal. Biden wants to invest more in NATO and European allies. Trump doesn't want to. These are major policy differences. It makes it tough for other countries to deal with America. Imagine you're sitting in Tehran. You're a member of the Iranian regime. You work hard to sign a nuclear deal with the US, but come November, Trump wins the White House again, and he decides to cancel the whole thing again. What does that make you? A fool for trusting the Americans. Same case in Britain. The ruling Conservatives oppose a ceasefire in Gaza, but the opposition Labour do not. They want a ceasefire. In France, it's the same story. President Macron is a big supporter of the European Union. His rival is not so much. Her name is Marine Le Pen. She wants to take France out of NATO's command structure, end military cooperation with Germany, and maintain distance with Europe. Canada is another example. Justin Trudeau has a clear anti-India policy tilt, but his opponent does not. He's promising to repair relations with India. Now, such contrasts are not limited to major players. Look at Slovakia, for example. Their last government was pro-Ukraine. They gave military aid worth $700 million. But the new prime minister has stopped it. He says not a single bullet will be given. Do you see the problem here? Elections changing domestic policy is understandable. But on foreign policy, you expect consistency. You expect predictability. If not, it is hard to build a partnership. Look at India, for example. The ruling party and the opposition have different outlooks, different ideologies. Their domestic policy is different. But on foreign policy, they seem to be on the same page. And that has helped India. The best example is our relationship with the United States. It started with a Congress government after the Cold War, and it reached its peak under the current BJP government. And that is continuity. Without that, geopolitics goes for a toss.